What's up, everyone? All right, so here we are. I'm wearing red, second day in a row, and it's because I wanted to be really careful today. Yesterday, I only made $110. I only took one trade, and it was a very small winner. And I felt that since the last few days this week, we've kept seeing the leading gapper roll over, that's been a little tricky for momentum. So today when I saw CTRV on the gap scanner up 140%, I knew there was going to be a lot of risk in trading it, given what we'd seen on GNCA, CTRM, and RWLK. Well, we ended up getting a couple of great opportunities on it, and I made $9,700 just on CTRV. Fantastic. Almost $10,000 of profit. Actually, I was up over $10,000 before my final exit. I gave back just a little bit of profit. Then trade number 2, INSY, squeezing up, taking off, moving really fast. I jumped on the momentum, going into a halt. We had 2 halts in a row, and I ended up losing $2,000 on it. So unfortunately, I'm only going to finish today up 7,500 versus the 9,500 or so that I was up earlier. But hey, green is good, really awesome trading. I can feel great about that, and I'm going to try to finish off this week with one more green day tomorrow. If I can do it, it'll be my 9th consecutive green day, and as of right now, I'm up just over $20,000 on the month of June, which means I'm 50% to my $40,000 goal, and we still have a full 3 weeks left in the month, which is awesome. All right, so as usual, any questions on the recap, leave them below. I'll come back and answer them later this afternoon. I'll see you guys first thing tomorrow morning, 9:15 for pre-market analysis. All right, everyone. So we're going to do our midday market recap here. This is where I'm going to finish the day up $7,585.28, making it my 8th consecutive green day. And, we're on a little bit of a hot streak here, which is terrific. I mean, it's obviously great to make $50,000 in 8 days. Hopefully the momentum keeps up. Yesterday I only made $110. I took it really slow. Today probably could have been a $15,000 day, but I limited myself to 6,000 shares on all of my trades on CTRV. But with 6,000 shares, max size, I made $9,716 trading this gap and go setup right here, the break of the pre-market highs. High a day is 1575, which is pretty impressive. So I did well on this one. I could have done a little better if I let myself take bigger size. So I'm going to move this over here like this, and let's kind of break down this one. So this morning, CTRV was our leading gapper. We'll pop the gap scan up right here. Gap scan time frame, historical date. We'll do this at 9:25 a.m. So at 9:25 a.m., CTRV was gapping up 140%, showing a 17 million share float. That's actually wrong. The float is less than 1 million shares because they recently did a reverse split. So remember, for those of you guys that aren't familiar, if a stock does a 10-to-1 reverse split and they have a 10 million share float before the split, after the reverse split, their float will be only 1 million shares. So to make it easy to understand, if the stock is trading at 10 cents, and you are holding 10,000 shares of it at 10 cents. You're holding $1,000. What is that? 10 cents times 10,000. Yeah, I guess it's $1,000 worth of the stock. On the next day after the 10-to-1 reverse split, you look and you're like, whoa, the stock's trading at $1. This is awesome. I'm up $10,000. And then you realize, wait a second, I'm only holding 1,000 shares. So what they did is they bumped the price up, they drop your shares down, so you've got the same $1,000 in the stock. So when you multiply that across the entire float, the float goes down by that ratio, so down by 10. Now, with a 70-to-1 reverse split, this float went down to about 500,000 shares. Tiny float. And it was gapping up this morning, 140%, with news here, which is just sort of like perfectly timed. Now, this stock on a daily chart doesn't really have a history of being a former runner necessarily, but didn't look bad. It had a few levels that were interesting. And so my bias on it was to the long side. However, the reason I kept my share size at 6,000 shares was because GNCA on Monday, big gap up, sold off on the gap. CTRM on Tuesday, big gap up, sold off on the gap. And RWLK yesterday, big gap up, sold off on the gap. So I was like, CTRV looks really good, but being that it's a little higher priced and being what we've seen on these last couple of gappers that were really big and higher priced, I better go easy with 6,000 shares because I could lose 50 cents or $1 per share really quickly on this if I'm not careful. So this is how I traded it. Pre-market high was 12.31, but it broke and was up to 12.85 by the time the bell was ringing. So I switched over to the 1 minute chart, trading this on the 1 minute because the 5 minute just moves too fast. So right out of the gates, the second the bell rings, this thing pops up to a high of 13.88. And I was like, let's give this thing a second. I am worried that if I jump into this at 13.88, I am just buying it way too high and it could drop right back down to $12 in a second and I'll be down almost $2 per share. So I gave it a second. I was just like, let's just be careful on this. And then let's look for the first candle to make a new high. And that was right here. This was a red to green move. First candle to make a new high right here. On this one, we had the high was 12.57. It broke. I was slow to get in. It actually popped from 12.57 all the way up to 13.50. And there I took a small position at 13. I got a partial fill, let's see here, at 13.56. I sold at 14.34 and then I added back at 14.40. So it squeezed up here to a high of 14.75. It then pulled back and I think I bought right here on this 1 minute pullback for a scalp higher. Maybe that was a couple minutes later. So let's see, I added it 14.40, 14.50 right here, trying to ride the momentum up to 14.75. Sold it. I think I was down unrealized, and then I got back in here. This new entry, which was my best trade, was right here. So right in this area here, I made about $3,000. It wasn't a big winner, but it was decent. And then I was watching this consolidation here on the 1 minute chart. Now, during this period of time, because of the way it dropped so aggressively here, I sort of thought it maybe was done, but it held up. It held the VWAP and it held this 20 moving average. And so that's when I started to shift my bias that this thing was going to work. So as soon as it started to squeeze up right here, I was like, I can't wait. Because when I waited here, I got filled $1 higher than where I really wanted to get in. So I anticipated it and started jumping in 70. And this is literally in the same second. I'm filling 15 cents away to give you perspective of how fast this was moving. 9:44 and 53 seconds, I get my first fill and my second fill. I add here. As it breaks 14, I tried to add again at 14.50 because I was like, this thing looks like it's really going to take off. And I didn't get filled. And the reason I didn't get filled was because I already had max size. What I was trying to do was add at 14.50 and do a quick scalp over that level. So add and then sell half. Add and then sell half. So I added, didn't get filled on the add order because I was already at 6,000 shares here. So instantly the order was just rejected. And so then when I tried to sell half, I sold half but of that, or a quarter of the existing position. So anyways, this is where I kind of screwed up. And then I held the rest going into this halt right here. We got a high of day of 15.75. And as I went into this halt, instead of holding potentially 7,000 shares or something like that, because I wasn't able to add, I was holding a smaller position. So this here with potentially 9,000 shares, I mean, this could have been by itself a $10,000 to $15,000 winner plus the 3,000 I made back here. I could have done a lot better on this today, but at the same time, $9,700 is good, and 7,500 on the day is pretty good as well. So I'm not going to beat myself up too much. And the most important thing is capital preservation when the market is a little choppy. So the hotkey I'm using, ZVZZT, this is a NASDAQ test stock. So if I press Shift 1, I'm going to buy, so let's go down, so drop me down to the bottom. So Shift 1 to buy, Shift 1, Shift 1, Shift 1. Those are my orders popping up right there. Oops, I got 12,000 shares. So what it's saying here is, nope, you can't take bigger size. You're maxed out. All right, so now I'll press Control Z. I'll sell half, sell half, sell half. This is a test stock, so this profit doesn't change here. You can just trade it as much as you want. So basically, if I was looking at this, I might say, oh, I'm looking for the break of the $0.50. Shift 1, Shift 1. It broke the $0.50 to 65. I'm going to put an order on the ask to sell half. 10.01 here, 1 cent below the ask to be aggressive. No fill, cancel the order, Control Q, oops, Control Q, Control X, sell half on the bid, sell the rest at the bid. So, yeah, so anyways, you know, that's kind of, that's the hotkeys, Shift 1, Control Z, Control X, allowing me to get in and out quickly. So yeah, I could have been more aggressive here, but whatever. Still a good trade. And then INSY, just super disappointing. I took 2 trades on it and lost on both of them. It got halted right here at 58. Resumed from the halt, I got in at 55. It then drops down to 43. I stop out for a $300 loss. It pops back up, it squeezes it. Again, I get back in at 77. I increased my max share size to 12,000 shares because this is a lower price stock, and at that point I was already up, you know, almost 10,000 on the day. I take a full 12,000 shares. It hits a high of 90. I was looking for the break of $2, and then it rolls over, and I stopped out as it came back down and lost 2,000 bucks. So that was disappointing. It just did not hold up well at all. But excuse me, that's the way it goes sometimes. So that's fine. Still going to finish the day up 7,500. And as much as I might feel like, man, I was up almost $10,000 and now I'm up only 7,500. I just try to put that on the back of my mind and not focus on it. It's a green day. I've got $7,585 more than I had 2 hours ago. So another really good day of trading, a great gap and go setup on CTRV. Maybe I was too aggressive on INSY, but I could have also seen it working. So it was probably worth the risk. And, you know, I'll be back at it first thing tomorrow morning. Remember, 1 p.m. Eastern today, free workshop. So I would love for you guys who haven't already registered to register and be there. CTRV is going to be one of the examples that we talk about today because we're going to be talking about the gap and go strategy. Buying stocks that are gapping up, riding momentum, gap up, go up. So gap and go, and it worked really well on CTRV with $9,700 of profit, and hopefully we will see some more good opportunities like that in the weeks ahead. All right, so that's about it for me here today. I will see you guys all first thing tomorrow morning, and those of you guys in the workshop, I'll see you at 1 p.m. in just about 2 hours. All right, I'll see you guys soon. If you're still watching, you must have really enjoyed that video. So why not subscribe and get email alerts anytime I upload new content? Remember, when you subscribe, you become a member of the Warrior Trading family.